Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bean Turtle, and today we've got actually not the T-34-85s, but the update that just came out called Leviathans, which looks kind of cool. There are some pretty funny little unintended consequences of the update, though. They seem to have updated some camos, so some of y'all's stuff is probably out of place, like the T-34-85E got a little messed up because I had that nice and centered on the cannon barrel, and they retextured the whole thing. It looks like so. There's that, but then also like this decoration got just teleported up into the air, and it's really funny. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm definitely not changing that ever. So if you have anything like that weird on your tanks, that's pretty funny, and you might leave it that way just for that reason alone. But anyway, but we've got some new stuff added today. Actually, really not that much. For instance, for like the Soviets, we got the T-72 B3A, which I think is like a modern day like 2020s modification of the T-72, for instance. But really nothing that much for them. The real focus of this update was actually on like the Germans and others with the IRIS-T. It's got this really crazy SAM that I was actually testing against because I don't have it. But the idea was, what does it take to actually survive these surface-to-air missiles and these SAM systems from the perspective of a fighter jet, specifically my F-16. I spend a lot of time trying to perfect SEAD, which is suppression of enemy air defense. And so I was just trying to play that out a little bit, and I'll show you all some clips from that earlier. That was a pretty fun game, but for the most part, people are still learning how to use the new interface for the advanced SAM systems. So you've got a lot of they added like effectively a full window menu that shows both height and distance on your radars. You can literally click on targets to queue up shots for the missile launchers to fire. And what's kind of cool about this, and it took me a second to realize this, when you research one of these, as I said, I can't right now, but on the US I can. When you research one of these, you actually get two of them. So you research this one, and then it drops as a pack vehicle. And so that allows you to actually see both pieces of the vehicle. So this is the radar for the American one. And so they haven't added the Patriot yet, but they probably will eventually. But still, 20-kilometer search radar, huge search zone, with not that big of a dead zone at the top. Honestly, at 65 degrees is pretty good. And then you've got the launchers, which is called the Tell, is what the way it distinguishes it. But you can actually like spawn these in game, and I think control them even. But all these have are this one is AIM 120Cs, which is kind of crazy to think about. AIM 120Cs. So if we look at the modifications, see AIM 120C7s, and then you direct them with the radar, and then also you get AIM 9Xs with a which is also kind of crazy, but on a different launcher you get AIM 9Xs. So that's like the American one. But they drop as a pack vehicle, which is kind of cool. The airspace is much more dangerous for both you and for the really annoying Russian casts, such as the Su-30, SM, and stuff. Right, it's like the KH-38 missiles that could be effectively spammed from orbit because of how good this plane is. A lot of that stuff is not actually going to be as free anymore because the IRIS-Ts and such. Sorry, my Discord, because the IRIS-Ts and stuff will be able to literally click on them on a menu and take them down, which is pretty cool. So sort of like the Pantsir, how the Pantsir works. It's just much easier now because they made a whole menu for it. Also, to stick to the stuff that honestly I play the most and not talk about naval yet, even though they added some cool naval stuff, they added the F-16, Japan, which everyone is freaking out about for some reason. But apparently, the F-16, Japan has some pretty cool stuff when I looked at it. So of course you've got like your normal missiles or whatever, the AAM-4s, which has 100 kilometers of range. Nothing big. But then also it has, interestingly enough, anti-ship missiles. I mean, I don't really get the point of this, but they're radar-guided anti-ship missiles, which is kind of cool. I don't know what that's for, because if you try to play naval with boats, it literally, or like with a high level plane, it literally doesn't let you. So like we look at, I had it set up here. Use my F-16C naval realistic. See, it says naval realistic 3.3 VR. Like it acts as if this thing doesn't even exist. None of them, in fact, exist to the game. So kind of weird, honestly. So I don't really know what those are for right now. It's not the first plane that has naval missiles, but it's kind of cool that it has them, I guess. Um, yeah, but it literally is, in my opinion, the version of the insert thing, comma Japan meme, where everyone freaks out about the Japanese version of what everyone else has, but whatever. And then there's a premium pack one, which looks pretty. I guess it does look pretty. I mean, good camos. They always do good camos, but otherwise, it's kind of like okay. Multiple anti-ship missiles here. That's really strange, but it doesn't seem to have any. However, interestingly enough, the T2 the T2 does not actually have any AGM 65s, so that's kind of weird, and that does decrease the amount of damage you can do in a ground game with it. It has plenty of other missiles, of course, like you're talking about the air-to-air missiles. It has plenty of those, but otherwise, it doesn't really have, you know, that much in terms of anti-ground ordnance, so that looks a little unfortunate. Also, they added this, the RAH 66, which is actually a canceled slash failed. I don't know why it would be failed because it did work, but stealth helicopter program for the Army. Extremely well detailed, like to the point where I wonder how many secret documents were actually released on this one to Gaijin somehow, but it's a really well detailed thing. Even the pilots are holding the right pieces of the flight controls systems and the gun systems and stuff, which is pretty freaking cool. But super detailed, and it has a radar, which is kind of cool. But really cool vehicle. That is, I think $50 is the pack right now for America for US. I'm American, so $50. And it actually does kind of have stealth. Like radars have a hard time locking it, and infrared signatures have a hard time locking it as well. But the trade-off is you also have no flares because of how stealthy it is. I put in quotes. It has no flares, but this actually I might pick up, and if I do, you'll probably see a video on it because it looks really fun. Another thing, they added a Swiss line for Germany. There's now a 14.0 F-18 for Germany, and so it's got all the cool shiny stuff, including AIM-120Cs, which they seemingly added to all of the F-18s. So AIM-120Cs are now a thing, and they have 120 kilometers of range and 16 kilometers of pitbull range, which means the active radar homing head is working instead of just your radar, which that's a lot of range. The performance visually is not any different from the other AIM-120s, but as in they both have 35 Gs of overload. But yeah, I don't want to be on the other side of that gun. Otherwise, they look pretty similar to the other F-18 from what I know, but still pretty cool that they added that. And then also another F5. I really like F5s, so there's another F5E apparently that they added. And F5s are pretty simple, but they do have AGM 65s, so they're pretty fun. And another thing that if people play naval, really, I mean, I don't really play naval, but some people do. And then I actually think it's really cool to look at these things. Honestly, they added some really big boats for naval. So they added the Bismarck, yes, the famous one that did one mission and died. This is the Bismarck. Extremely well detailed, 38 centimeter guns. That's gigantic. I thought it was really funny. The 15 centimeter, the 150 millimeter gun is an auxiliary caliber. I put in quotes, which I thought was hilarious because that's ridiculous. But yeah, so they added the Bismarck. They added the USS Iowa. And the Iowa is just incredible looking. Look at this. It's beautiful. If you've seen that commercial, there's a dude who's like, ships like the USS Iowa are patrolling our seas. We felt safer, or something like that. This is that ship, and and it's just super cool to see. It has on the front 16-inch guns, another 3 on the back, so a total of 9 of them. It's just crazy. Um, and it's also super well detailed, like all the way down to the walkways on the engine. If you see the walkways on the engines, I just think that's really cool that they do that. All the individual shells are modeled visually and such. And what's crazy to me about this is that there's almost no performance impact to that at all. Like that this game just kind of works, and that's awesome. But yeah, so really cool. As I said, as you could probably tell, I do not play naval at all by this. But I still think it's pretty awesome that they're adding really high level, cool stuff consistently. And there are some new things that might bring me to even play it because, like, the eye was pretty cool. I'm gonna be honest. And another weird thing is, seemingly with the update, they reset a lot of these. So your they actually removed the original targeting pod. I forgot what it was called before, but now it's called the sniper targeting pod. I put in quotes, so I don't really know why that is, but maybe that's the real name of it. I don't know, but they replaced it with, it's pretty much the same as what we had before, but they just took it off. So if you're if you've been using like the F-16C or something, or the F-18, F-15, F-18, whatever, you'll need to put your targeting pods back on the things if it needs it, right? See, so these were all messed with, so you're probably going to have to go redo that, just as a forewarning. And then look at just how nicely modeled these things are. I just think that's really cool looking. What are these for? If y'all know in the comments, are these just like not like radio antennas, like really really big radio antennas to transfer data to the missiles? I mean, that might be what that is, like a data link thing, but um, but I don't actually know. But that's just really cool looking, really well modeled. And if you look at the background of the gameplay, they actually changed the kill UI. So whenever you die, there's a big box open. There's a big box up on top that shows who killed you, what vehicle it was, what BR, what round. I think that's awesome. It used to be kind of nebulous as to what things were. Like, if you didn't know tanks by look or by name, if you didn't know what a Panther D was, you kind of had to guess what the round was they were using or what it looked like, if you didn't know what that was. But now it shows you, oh, it's a Panther D at 5.3 BR with that shell that killed you. And so I think that's awesome. I think that's a great way to not only teach new players how to do things, but also to keep to just more information in the game. And it looks good because it shows that it like a mini player card of the person who did it too, which is pretty cool. So that's all I have for this video. If you guys want to watch more, I probably will be streaming later tonight. Depending on what I do, I may either do that or I'm going to be making videos. I don't know which. But if you guys want to see more videos from me in the future, please be sure to like and subscribe. I am BeanTurtle977 as always, and I will see y'all in the next one. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Be safe.